Peace. What's happening, good people? This gift here for Payusnomind. And today I have a special guest going by the name of Yarn Birdies,
Hey.
a illustrator, graphic designer, extraordinaire, musical composer, very talented individual. And what they're here to do today is break down the difference between Vocaloids and AI. Because I am someone that does not see the difference between the two. So for me, AI and Vocaloids are the same thing. Sounds like computer-generated songs that are made by computers. AI, I type in a prompt, and it generates a song. Vocaloids, I see as the same thing. Now, Yarn Birdie says to me, they're not the same thing. They are different things.
That's right.
And I ask, how so? How are Vocaloids different from artificial generated music on platforms like Suno and Udio and things of that nature? You've used these platforms, so you're familiar with how they operate as well. Go ahead.
Well, you say that the generated songs is what makes it AI, right? And Vocaloid would be the same thing. But the thing with Vocaloid is that the Vocaloid producers tend to write the songs. I haven't heard of any AI songs yet. They're probably working on that as we speak. But traditionally, the producers would write the songs. And then the difference with the AI and the Vocaloid is that the AI, it's generated in one piece. So the vocals would be generated with the background music, the instrumental, and it would just be generated as one song, vocals, everything. And with Vocaloid, they would have to write the lyrics themselves. So they're not generated lyrics. They would have to produce the instrumentals themselves. So it's like human created instrumentals, right? And then they would tune the Vocaloid voices to sing the songs.
So the lyrics are written by a person. And the music is made by a person.
Yep.
But the song is sung by a computer.
Yes, like a computer voice. It's not generated, though. The difference is that the AI voices are generated piecing together multiple different voices, right? And the Vocaloid voice, they take a sample from a person and only use that person. So they'll sample one person, and then they'll chop up their sample, right? And make it a little digitally sounding. And then they'll use that sample as the voice, so they only get the source voice from one person. And it's interesting too, because then the Vocaloid, when they voice act in other animes, like the VA, the Vocaloid will sound like those other anime characters, so it's kind of interesting too.
So hold on, let me get this straight. With the Vocaloid thing, so where do the voices come from for the Vocaloids?
They come from actual VAs.
Okay, so VAs is short for Vocaloids?
It's short for voice actor.
Voice actors,
Yeah.
okay.
Like Japanese seiyus.
Is it a place that you could go get these voice actors?
They usually hire them, you know. They're like, oh, would you like to sample your voice for Vocaloid? They're like, sure, you know, I don't care. I'm assuming I'm not a voice actor who's done that, so I wouldn't know. But they would sample their voice and they would use it. They would break it up by vowels, because that's how they tune the Vocaloids. The Japanese alphabet, right, is made up of hiragana and katakana, but they break up the alphabet. Like when they hear you talk, you know, when people chop up your voice and use the letters to make you say something else if they were to edit you, they do that. They chop it up into vowels, since Japanese words are made up of vowels, usually. They have English Vocaloid songs, but they'd like piece together the Japanese vowels to make them speak English, because there's no English version of Vocaloid. Yeah.
So there's no English version of it?
Yeah, they don't have it in other languages. They have to like piece the Japanese together to form other words. Like they have to piece the vowels together.
So do English songs with Vocaloid sound like choppy? Because
they sound choppy. Some of them sound really nice, but it's hard to get them to sound really clear because they use the Japanese vowels for it, so it's hard to pronounce English words like that. So some words will sound like they'll have a very strong Japanese accent. So all the English songs have a Japanese accent, when the Vocaloids sing it because they only have a Japanese alphabet to use.
So if you hear an AI generated song and a song that was created with Vocaloid, would you be able to tell the difference?
Yes, I think I would be.
How? What would you think? What do you think would be different about the two different types of songs?
Well, currently, I guess the AI voices, they have that kind of filter over it at the moment. Like, throughout the song, the voice does not stay consistent. It like changes throughout the song to the point that at the end of the song, it can almost sound like a completely different person. Because that's what I got when I was messing around with Suno. When I would generate a song, it would start out sounding like one voice, and then throughout like the middle, it would crack into another voice, and then at the end, it would finish. And sometimes it would even crack from like male to female, even though I put female as like the test voice, you know? Mm-hmm. And the Vocaloid voices, they'll stay consistent, right? Because they voice it from one AI actor. It's not multiple voices that they chop together. They sourced it from one VA, and they just chopped up the vowels so you could piece it to sing whatever you want, right? Because you got to tune it to sing your song. So the voice will stay consistent throughout the whole song. And the Vocaloids tend to have a filter over them as well. But it's not like the AI filter where it has a certain sound. The AI has a certain sound where it'll crack into different people's voices. And it also sounds like there's a filter over the entire song. Like you can tell the difference because it feels like a different filter, like the vocals sound off or something. Have you experienced that before?
So it's just like something about it that seems off.
It feels off. It's like you can hear the vocals don't sound like a person. It sounds like a person, but it's like something's off with this person. You know what I mean? And the Vocaloids have a filter with them too, but it's like a digitally filter. It's like they have a very computer sounding voice because it's chopped up because they just chop up the vowels. So when you piece it together, it's going to sound choppy. So they have kind of like a choppy voice, you know? But I could tell the difference between the AI and the Vocaloid. That's one difference I could use, you know?
Now, which do you prefer and why?
Well, I'd have to say I prefer Vocaloid because, first of all, you're not stealing people's creativity, I'd have to say. Because with the Vocaloids are used more as instruments in a way of creating a song fast. Because if you were to use a Vocaloid, you're not making that song any faster than you would if you were using vocals. I mean, I guess hiring someone to sing your song would take some time maybe if you weren't going to sing it yourself. But the Vocaloids don't really like quicken the process. You still have to write the lyrics yourself, right? Produce the instrumental yourself. You still have to piece the whole song together. So people are still creating these songs. They still have like passions for these songs, and they just want to use the Vocaloids to sing them. Either because they love the Vocaloid character, you know, or like they just want to experiment with it. Either way, they're still writing the songs and then putting passion in their music, right? And even though you say that the songs sound soulless, but people still work on the songs, you know? Like they still write the songs and stay up all night making all those songs, you know? Like how you would make your songs, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, okay. Yeah, I guess when because I don't want to call it AI because you say it's not artificial intelligence. It's just like an instrument, right?
It's more like an instrument than like intelligence because there isn't really intelligence in it. Not yet anyways.
Okay, so the Vocaloid is like an instrument and you're just basically almost like a pre-programmed piano, like how you go upstairs and you turn on your keyboard and say techno, and then it plays like one of those techno songs, like. Well,
it's not really pre-programmed because you have to tune it to sing the song specifically, but it is more like an instrument than not, you know, where it's like an addition to your songs as opposed to writing the song for you. Mm-hmm. So I would say that's like one of the main differences because the AI, it'll write the song for you. You don't have to do any work. You just put it in there, maybe like 5 minutes max. It'll generate a song for you. They take the writing styles of different people because it's just mixed. It's just a mash pot of different artist styles, and they just pick one. Oh, you want country? I'll just pick that up for you. And they take like a selection of country singers and like mix their styles together. And then they'll like put out something. And most of these country singers, I don't think they would like that, you know? Or whatever singers, artists, because it takes a lot to perfect your style. And to have that just ripped away from you, just a machine generating a soulless song in seconds, it's kind of painful, you know? And the difference between like the Vocaloids and the AI, because the Vocaloids, it's just the instrument, and you're still making art, you know? I'd say it's still an art, and the AI kind of strips that art away because it just generates it in seconds, and it's not your art anymore. It's technically the machine's art, which is stole from other people, so technically doesn't even belong to it, you know?
Yeah, but I would say, see, this is a matter of, because now we're getting into another area, right? Which is to say respect for art all around. So to some extent, it's like elevating one or a couple aspects of the creation process over others. So it's like you got the people that write songs, song lyrics, right? And then you got the people that compose the songs, that put together the compositions for the instruments to say, okay, it's a piano, drums, that type of stuff. But the voice, people sing, that is also a critical aspect of it. That's something that a person does. That's a talent that a person does. So, okay, the person that writes the song lyrics and the person that makes the music, you're okay with effectively putting the person that sings the song out of work to have a Vocaloid do it. But in the sense of AI, which kind of like eliminates everybody and takes from the singer, takes from the songwriter, takes from the person that makes the beat, you're like, well, that's taking too much. But somebody gets harmed in the way that the thing that you're talking about doing. Why is it okay for the singer to get harmed in the Vocaloid dynamic?
Well, personally, I don't think like Vocaloids would be taking jobs away from singers necessarily, because Vocaloid, they have a certain sound, you know? And when you want a Vocaloid in your music, like let's take Miku, for example, very popular Vocaloid. It's like, oh, I want to write a Miku song, right? But sometimes you don't want Miku to sing your song because she has a very specific sound for her voice that does not fit every song, you know? So if it's like, if you were to write a song, right, let's say, oh, I want a song and I want Miku to sing this song. And then you write the song and have Miku sing the song. And then you have a song that's like, I want a more realistic voice, you know, because they sound like robots. They sound very robotic. And if you can't get a more realistic voice with a Vocaloid, so you'd have to get an actual singer. So the Vocaloids have like a specific sound that you're trying to use for it, you know? And there are some Vocaloid producers who actually sing their own songs and then make a Miku version of it as well, which I think is more experimentation, because it's like, oh, what if I made a Miku version of this song? How would this song sound like if I made Miku sing it, you know? Or, oh, what if I took Len, another Vocaloid? What if I took Len and had him sing this song, right? So I wouldn't necessarily say it's taking away from actual singers because it has a certain sound to it. It's like, oh, I want to make a Miku song. But then if you just want to make a regular song per se, right? Then you'd get an actual singer as opposed to Miku because she's like an idol or whatever.
So it's like how you got all these different...
How you'd hire like, oh, I want Taylor to sing a song. I want a Taylor song, right?
I'm about to say, yeah.
And you'd hire Taylor to sing your song, but you don't always want Taylor to sing your song, so you'd hire someone else.
Yeah, so it's like you got R&B singers, pop singers, you know, rappers, and you write a song and you say, hey, you know, I think this rapper would be great singing this verse. And I think Demi Lovato or whoever would be great singing this song. But you know what? This is a ballad, and I need somebody who's a ballad singer or something. So it's like that, right?
Yeah.
Where you could get versus AI, which would be what? Give me an example.
Well, I would say because Miku, she's like a pop star, you know, virtual pop star. Mm-hmm. So you use her for pop star things. If I want a pop star to sing my song, like, oh, I think this pop star would be great for my song, you have Miku sing the song. Because it's like, oh, I think Mika would be great for my song. You know, she's the pop star I want to use, but you don't always want to use one pop star for your song, so you'd switch. But what are you asking with
AI? With AI. So AI is not a matter of being like, I want this version or that. It's not like you're picking a style, you're saying, effectively, because with Vocaloid, you could say, hey, you know what? This thing has a particular style. And I wrote this song, but I don't want this song delivered in this style. And that is what creates opportunities for other creatives, because if they want it in that person's style, then they have to work with that person, right? Mm-hmm. That's what you're saying. And with AI, that's not the thing, because they can create music in any style.
Yeah.
Right? They can go in and type in a prompt and say, hey, I want this song to sound like this artist. But at the same time, you said that you could hear the difference. It has a different feel, right? So in a similar fashion to Vocaloids, where Vocaloids have a certain sound to it, where you say, I don't want that sound. I want this more human sound or this more human style. You could say the same thing could happen with AI, where they say, hey, I don't want this filter. I don't want this sound, right? Like maybe they want it and they go and use AI to create the song. And maybe they want more of a human feel and they go to a human to create the song. So in that sense, both kind of like could occupy the same space. I mean, our AI to a much less extent because of the level of mimicry that it can achieve, but at the same time, it's like it's limited to its effectiveness at that mimicry. Like if when they get it to a point where it sounds exactly like a human and nobody can tell the difference, then that can be like, that's when game over.
I mean, they're working
on
it.
Nobody, that's what they're kind of like working towards, right? But I mean, right now, I don't think we're there, so it's like you can still tell the difference and people might.
To go. I mean, with the AI, you still didn't write the song, though. It cuts down the songwriting process, obviously. More convenient. Oh, I just wrote the song in like 5 minutes. You didn't write the song. You generated the song. Mm. Which I know people wouldn't care. First of all, it takes away that sense of accomplishment. Like, oh, I wrote a song, I feel like that kind of adds to the accomplishment of it. But as an artist, I guess my, opinion is a little tweaked. But, you still didn't write the song, though. And if you were to have someone else sing the song you generated, I guess you could pass it off as, oh, it's creative. I was inspired by the AI, but you weren't really inspired if you directly stole all the lyrics from it and just had someone else sing it. Because that is not even generating AI music anymore. That would be you going to ChatGPT. Obviously, you could just go to ChatGPT and be like, oh, can you think of some... I already did country. Can you think of some jazz lyrics for me? How about you think of some blues lyrics for me? And if ChatGPT were to generate the lyrics and you just have someone else sing it, then it's the same thing as if you were to have someone re-sing an AI song that you generated. It's just you would have vocals this time, generated vocals not vocals, sorry, instrumentals. You would just have generated instrumentals you didn't make up, So it would just be AI generated instrumentals, AI generated lyrics, and then the only reason you want a real person, I guess, is one, you want it to sound more real so you could trick people better. You could trick people better, Oh no, this isn't AI. I got a real person. See, I didn't use AI because it sounds real. And it is a real person. You're not lying about that. But it would be to sound real because it's not real. It's fake, technically.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm playing devil's advocate here because at the same time, I don't fully support AI music creation. I think it's problematic and to a great extent appeals to, I guess, the worst in people, because it's like the ease of it and to a great extent the greed of it.
Yeah.
I think more so because they try to say...
to be able to pump out songs faster.
Yeah, so they try to make it about...
make more money.
Yeah, creativity, but it's more just about greed, because it's like, hey, I could make this bot just create so many songs, and then I could just throw all of these joints out there and sell mad beats or put mad songs up on the streaming platforms and generate revenue.
And you know what I found interesting? Because, what was it? I was on Suno, right? And when I went there were a lot of AI-generated Vocaloid songs that they had there. Where they would be like, oh, use Hatsune Miku's voice and sing this song. Because you have to pay to use the voice banks from the company. Because that's how they make their money. Obviously, you got to pay for the voice bank to use it. Like how you pay for a lot of other instruments. But obviously, to get away from the paywall, they would AI generate her voice instead. I was like, oh, they have a lot of AI generated Vocaloid songs here. They don't sound anything like her. You know, they like barely sound like her. But it's like they could really just AI generate her voice and then get away with AI generating a computer voice without paying for it.
That's crazy. So you got AI stealing a bot's voice.
It's not a bot, but still, like, it's stealing a computer.
A virtual pop singer's voice.
Yes. It's, like, stealing her voice, and they were using it. They were, like, writing songs. I'm assuming that they wrote the lyrics, because the lyrics, they looked written. You know, the AI lyrics, they looked like handwritten lyrics, but obviously the instrumentals were generated because that's how Suno works. You can't really put your own instrumentals in there, I don't think, right? So I think they wrote the lyrics, but the instrumentals were generated and Miku's voice was generated. I tried some other Vocaloids because I was testing if I could do some other Vocaloids, like Len. There's another Vocaloid named Len. It could not do Len. The only one it could get close to doing was Miku. And when I put in Teto, okay, she's not a Vocaloid technically. She's an Uto, which is like a free Vocaloid that doesn't technically fall under the company. It's a little complicated, but when I put in Teto's voice, right, I think they confused it for another artist, but either way it said, oh, we can't license this voice to you, right? Like this voice, you can't use that because we don't have the licensing to that voice. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. How come I could put in Len and Miku and not Teto? But I think they mistook Teto for someone else. Like, because I looked it up and there was this other artist named Teto that I had never heard of. I think he's like new or something. But it doesn't even matter. I was just like, oh, that's interesting. You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, how do you feel about like with the AI? Because now the next push is to get to a point where they strip away copyrights and they say no ownership of any artwork. So it's just like the AI can be trained on it and it can use anything effectively. It can use anybody's art and people have to opt out.
Well, that's just an excuse to, you know, train it to use other people's art styles more, you know? And it's just greedy. It's like, oh, no, this doesn't actually belong to you. It's fair use, right? It's fair use. You already put it out there. Like, we're just being inspired by your artwork. And it's like, no, you're stealing it, actually. I would call it inspiration. Because if I were to draw something, right? And someone were really like, oh, I'm so inspired by your art style, right? And tried to, like, replicate my art style because they, like, really like my artwork, that would make me feel good, you know? Like, oh, this feels happy. But if they were trying to replicate my art style, right? And make, like, almost an exact copy of it and pass it off as theirs, then that's what becomes a difference, right? It was like, oh, I'm so inspired by your art style. And it's, like, similar. They try and copy my art style, but, like, they implement it into their own artwork. As in, they don't try and steal it. They just, like, incorporate some elements. Oh, I'm so inspired, right? Instead of taking my artwork and, like, oh, actually, no, this is mine. Because they just, like, redraw it exactly like me. And then post it. It's like, no, actually, this is mine. Because I wanted to draw on your style so badly, I generated it, you know? And it's like, that took me a long time to cultivate that style. And you just generated it in 5 seconds. And it's painful, you know?
That was painful. Like, it's just disrespectful. And
right, so, like, the craft, because people take a long time to learn that stuff. And then to just generate it in 5 seconds and steal the artwork away from people is just very interesting. The world we're heading into, you know?
Yeah, so as an artist and a creative, how does that, you know, like, how does that make you feel about the future of art?
I mean, it makes me feel a little worried. Like, the value of art could go up because people would seek out like real artists as opposed to AI art, which they feel it would become more valuable, because if AI art is widespread, then actual artists become like a treasure, sort of. Mm-hmm. So that could be the outcome. Or actual artists could go down in value, right? Because everyone could just generate whatever they want, so they wouldn't really need you anymore. So they could become two outcomes. And I just find that really interesting, because people wouldn't need artists anymore. It's like, I don't need you. I don't need to pay you, right? So I could just generate this and I wouldn't need to pay any money. Or I'd have to pay less money, rather. Maybe the AI start charging people, because that's how the companies would get money, right? Charge you a subscription. Oh, you want to generate more than 2 lines of music? How about you pay us $5? No. And then it increases. $5, $10.
Yeah, I could definitely see it getting that way, where it's like generates like 4 bars.
Right, like you want to generate more than 4 bars of music.
Yeah, like $5 every 4 bars or something like that, you know. Like
yeah, they'd have to start using money, because it's just experimental now. But it's like, no, they're going to have to start charging people at some point. They're not going to let people use this for free. What's the point of that?
I mean, the whole thing is having it be free so they could train it. And so they could get people using it and generating songs and learning how people want to prompt.
But once they perfect it almost, then they have to start charging people like, oh, we could just print out art, basically. You just print out art and you're going to have to pay for that. And I think, like I said, it's like actual artist values go up because a real art becomes more valuable, or it could go down because people could just generate whatever they want and they wouldn't need you anymore. And either outcome is very interesting, you know? It almost feels, I mean, it's not the same thing, because I'm sure no one wants to be out in the field picking rice. But maybe, you know, with like the machines that do like all the farming work now, right? It kind of feels like that, where like they replace the farmers. And I guess that makes the farming faster, right? I mean, the farmers don't actually lose their jobs though, because they're working with the machines. They have the machines on their farms, you know. They go around collecting the grain, but they're driving the machines to collect the grain, you know what I mean? So like the technology is helping farmers as opposed to artists, where it's like, it's not helping, it's like stealing away, I would say. I don't know why I brought up farmers just now.
I mean, you're making a comparison, but I get it, you know. But I mean, being in art for so long, I've seen the oversaturation. And what you're talking about is like, they call it a zero profit condition, where you have a product that everybody can afford to make. So then everybody starts making it. And then the value of it plummets, because when there's an overabundance of supply, it usually has a negative impact on demand, you know? So it's like with AI, the value of an artist could go up, but at the same time, the thing that makes me feel not good about it is that when you look at the purpose of music, like what people use music for, like people use music almost like as background noise for the most part. It's like they're doing something else and then they just have music playing while they're doing something else, you know? Or they go to a club and the DJ plays music that they could dance to and they dance to it, you know, stuff like that. So it's not something that it's like, I need a singer for, you know, like, I don't know how often you have circumstances and situations where people were just like, I really need a singer and I want to pay top dollar, right? And even now, it's like these background vocalists and stuff, people don't even know their names. I guess inside of the business, they might know. But from a fan perspective, it's like these people got not a whole lot of value, you know, because nobody know they know me. Nobody really care. All they care about is, hey, here's a song. I can hear it when I want. They stream it, you know, so you already got a situation where songs are generating like 0.003 of a cent on Spotify. And artists are basically spending money to give their music away for free. So they're advertising on Facebook and spending money and saying, oh, download this for free. And people are like, no, I don't want your free music, you know? So it's like, I don't know how much lower we can get than free, you know, where you got all of these artists trying to desperately give their music away. And then on top of that, you add a layer of a whole bunch of people who are now like not creatives at all. They just see a straight up financial opportunity where it's like, hey, I could go here and generate 1,000 sleep songs and 1,000 meditation instrumentals and 1,000 lo-fi hip hop study beats and flood the streaming platforms with it. And then it's like, well, how many people say, hey, I need an actual producer that produced this lo-fi hip? Like, how many people care? I don't think people care.
Of like Pinterest, because sometimes when I'm looking for art inspiration, like I don't know what to draw, I like end up on Pinterest, like from a piece that inspired me, right? And then when you scroll through like the art selection, it's mainly AI now. And it's so interesting because you'll go there and like a hand is missing or like the hair is merging with the outfit. And it's like, they're all AI now. It's like, why are they all AI? If I'm looking for outfit inspiration, it's going to be difficult when the outfit is merged with our hand. And it's just so interesting that like most of the art on Pinterest I'm looking through was like AI character sheets and like AI outfit inspiration. And I'm looking for actual outfits that aren't merged with each other. And, you know, I guess it's the same mentality of just like pumping out multiple AI outfits. Like, oh, people want Pinterest inspiration? I'll give them Pinterest inspiration, you know? And they just like pump out a whole bunch of AI generated girls or whatever, AI generated characters, and then just post them all up at the same time. So it's like the same accounts or whatever, the same bot accounts.
Yeah. I mean, it's a problem. So it's like from the standpoint of industry, it's perverse. So it's like you got all of these players that, like you look at digital distribution, for example, like the companies that help people get their music on Spotify and things of that nature. Those institutions, they want as many people making music as possible because they make their money by charging people to get their music on these platforms. So the more people they could get to pay $20 a year or $50 a year to distribute music, the more money they make. So if they have AI that these people can use to create songs to where it's like, you don't need talent. You don't need to be able to play an instrument. You don't need to be able to sing a song, write a song. You know, if you want to make money, you can just come here and generate a song,
right? Generate
an AI cover artwork, and then spend the money from your job to advertise it because, you know, most artists are broke because they're trying to do their art. But you got some corporate person that got money because they got a job, you know, so it's like, hey, now you could take your job money and invest it in this asset because it's not like a song that you created. It's just an asset that you created to profit from and invest in it, run ads on it and make money and get it out there in a way that a regular artist wouldn't. And whereas these people wouldn't invest in an artist because there's all these issues with control, right? This is something that you own and control. It's yours, right? So now it's like,
admit it's not yours.
Yeah, but it's like it's 100% mine, you know. And if it's successful, I get 100% of the profits. I get 100% of whatever comes from it. So it's like, you know, that's what motivates the people to go to a digital distributor and use the AI to get the music out there. And then the digital distributors are like, yo, whoever's paying. So then you just have this flood of music. And yeah, in that sense, yeah, you can get to a point where the artist is really minimized and devalued because the distributors are like, hey, whoever's paying. And the streaming platforms are like, well, as long as people are paying $10 a month to stream music, they don't care whether the artists are real or artificial or whatever. So it's like artists gaining value. It's like, who's paying? Who's paying the top dollar? Where are they going? Now, for somebody like yourself, who's a visual artist, you know, you got institutions like Disney and stuff like that might be like, we want to work with this artist. But I think it comes down more so to brand value and whether people recognize your name and whether they get something out of being like, hey, we're associating ourselves with Yon and Birdies, right?
That's what I was thinking with the music too. Because with music, it tends to be people that are a fan of your brand will listen to it. Like Taylor, for example, like Swifties. Oh, a Taylor song. I'll listen to a Taylor song, right? And then if it's a Taylor song, they'll listen to it because they love Taylor. They love all her past music. They're a fan of Taylor, so they'll listen to her song. But if you're a nobody, technically, then it's like, why would I listen to your music? It's just mid, mid. It's a mid song, and I don't know you, so why would I listen to it?
Yeah, and people could hear, like if you played a Taylor Swift song, not to say that her songs are mediocre for the crazy fans out there, right? I'm just throwing out a hypothetical scenario. You could play an average Taylor Swift song for somebody, and if they don't know it's her, they might be like, this is mid, right? Mm-hmm. And if you circle back, let's say they forgot that you played that song for them, and you say, hey, check out this new Taylor Swift song, right? And you played it for them, I think they would be like, oh my God, this song is amazing.
With the brand more than the actual music.
Yeah, so it's interesting, man. But this has been a very enlightening conversation. Vocaloids, AI, the future is very, very strange.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
Good luck, kid. Right? As you are the person that's going to be taking on the mantle of figuring out this new world that we're stepping into.
It's going to be interesting to see how things progress.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, any final thoughts? Anything you want to promote? The floor is yours, Jan and Birdies.
My Vocaloid fans, hello. Yeah, I mean, Vocaloid and AI, they're not quite the same thing. It can be easy to get them confused. And I think with Teto, right, she wasn't Uto, but she became a synth V Vocaloid recently, like very recently. And I think they implemented a new kind of AI on her voice. She's the most human sounding Vocaloid out of all of them because she's like the newest one. So they have the newest technology. Because all the other Vocaloids, right, they came out around like early 2000s, like 2007 to like 2011, maybe 2007 to 2012 is around the time period they came out. So the technology wasn't all that refined. But she's the newest one. I think she came out maybe like 2023 or around that time, 2022 to 2023. She's very recent. She's very new. And she's the most human sounding out of all of them. She still has a very computery voice because I think that might be like the trademark of the brand. The Vocaloids, they sound kind of computery. But she's the most human sounding out of all of them. Her voice is like the smoothest. And maybe I'll let you listen to one of the Vocaloid Teto songs one time.
Definitely. I'll check it out. I'll see what it sounds like. I'm interested. But yeah, man, Vocaloids, AI, interesting topic, man. I mean, if you are familiar with these things and you got some opinion on it, make sure you share your comments, share your thoughts. We're interested in knowing what y'all got to think about it, right? Or what your thoughts are on it. As always, y'all can agree to disagree or agree, whatever the case may be. Feel free to reach me at Payusnomind on Instagram, at Payusnomind on Twitter, Payusnomind at gmail.com, Payusnomind on Substack. You can hit Yawning Birdies up at
Yawning Birdies Insta, Yawning Birdies Instagram.
This is Gift signing off. Payusnomind. Peace, good people. 1.